Hi, this is Stephen Bonta, your casual lawyer, and I had making this video on the process of making an LLC formation. What do you need to do to form your LLC? I've recently had several clients come into my office forming LLCs, and I think it's a good idea for business owners and entrepreneurs to get an idea of what the process is. So I'm here to walk you through the formation steps and see how to form your LLC. So hopefully by the end of the video, you will have a roadmap and some really good ideas on what you need to do to form an LLC, limited liability company, and to operate that in some way. So please grab a notebook and a pen, and let's dive into the formation process. The first thing is understanding who are the members. Are you a single member or a multiple member? And that's pretty easy to figure out, and it's very important, especially later on, which I'll get into. The second thing is name consideration. How do you make a name? What's in the name? What you need to do with regard to the rules. Typically with real property, if you're owning a rental property, typically the name is easy. You do the address of the or portion of the address of that location, although you can really name it whatever you want. So here are some considerations. One, the relevance. What is the nature of your business? You want to somehow relate that to the name, be creative. You want someone to see the name and get hopefully an idea of what you do. Also, simplicity. It should be easy to say, easy to spell, and easy to remember. Compliance, there are certain rules with regard to forming an LLC and the name that you can use. There are certain names you can't use, and the New York State Department of State has a list. Some of them include things like handicapped, guarantee, assurance, academy. There's a whole bunch of them that you cannot use in an LLC. Go to the website, look for it, and they will give you a list of things that you can't name. We live in a digital world, so the other thing you should have and look up is a domain availability. Clients expect to see websites. You want to make sure that you can form a website and make sure that your name or variation of your name is available, easy to get to. Your name has to be unique. Okay, so you can search the New York State Department of State entity database. You can look at Google, and you can do a bunch of different things to make sure that your name is unique. If you go through the process and your name isn't unique, they will kick it. So you want to make sure you do as much of your homework up front to make sure your name is available. You can always reserve your name, or you can actually file a document with New York State Department of State to see if your name is available. Certainly, it's available at that time. If it takes you some time to go through the process, then there's no guarantees it's not taken. So, don't tell anyone your name until you're done. The next thing is we have to address the issue of your address. That's very important. Some people use their home address. It's cost effective, it's convenient. You'll wake up, you roll out of bed, you grab a sandwich, you go back to the desk, you type something out, you stay in your pajamas, whatever. You can use your home address. The negatives of using your home address is reduction of privacy. People and clients and people out there know where you live. I try to advise clients, typically don't use your home address if you don't have to. It can be also zoning issues, local zoning issues. So you want to make sure that you're doing things right. New York allows you to use a P.O. box. P.O. boxes are good for privacy, especially if you don't have a physical location. You don't want to use your home address. The biggest negative with a P.O. box is clients could look at the P.O. box as not professional. It's not a professional image. It's a P.O. box. Are you a fly by night? Are you a professional thing? But if that's not a concern, P.O. boxes are great. You can actually go out and get an office. You can go to a brick and mortar, as we call it. It's professional. It's a dedicated space. It's really good if you're seeing clients. If the clients are going to be visiting you, it's good to have that together and a place for them to go that's not your house. Some of the negatives are logistics. Is it close to your house? You have to worry about commuting. You have rental payments. There's other fees associated with it. There's leases, how long you stay at the place. So brick and mortars can be a little difficult, but it's really a nice dedicated place if that's what you want. There's also what's come out, room sharing or mail drops, office sharing. These are something like places that have office space where you can go to, just an office space you can rent it month to month. They have conference rooms you can rent. You can have receptionists who answer the phone. You share them with the other businesses. You can network with other businesses at that location. They have amenities as well, whether it's lunches or water or whatever. It's a really good hedge between a P.O. box and a brick and mortar. You can do a mail drop service where it's an address with a suite number, and the mail goes to one location. And it looks professional. You don't have an office, but these are the different things you can do. So knowing where your address is important. Once you have that figured out, you actually have to go through the filing process. You have to file articles of organization. You need to know your LLC's name, what the address is, Now, the New York State Secretary of State is designated as your agent of process. So if someone goes to sue you, they need to just serve the New York State Department of State. And then New York State will then send a notice to whoever your registered agent is or your registered process of service person is. So you need to get an idea who that person is, who your registered agent is. It could be an attorney, it could be a CPA, it could be a next door neighbor, it could be you, but just you have to keep that in there. What's really convenient with New York State is you can do everything online. You can go sit up behind your desk, fill out the articles of organization, do all that kind of stuff, and you're done. They will pretty quickly email you your approval, and it's a 1, 2, 3, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. At some point in that application process with New York State, they will ask you what your tax ID number or your employee identification number is, your EIN. So my recommendation is, as you go through the process, you get to the point where they say, do you have a EIN? You pause there, you open up another window, you go to irs.gov, and you search for EIN, and then you apply for your EIN at that same time. The form is called an SS4. You go through the prompts with regard to it, you pick your entity, etc. You do your name, who's the person doing it, and then you get your tax ID number. You can get it right away, right online. They send you a PDF pops up. You want to make sure you copy that and save that and print it. That is your tax ID number official form. It's called an SS4. So once you do all that, then you go back to the New York State website and complete the filing. The next step is an operating agreement. An operating agreement is crucial, especially if you're a multi-member, but it's crucial even if you're solo because the law says it's required. So you do want to get an operating agreement together. One of the biggest benefits in a multi-member LLC for having an operating agreement, aside that you have to be compliant with the law, okay, is it avoids members' conflicts. What goes into an operating agreement? Basic information. First, your name, your address, who the members are, their addresses. What is the management structure? Who does what? Who's in charge of taking care of the taxes? Who's in charge of managing the store? You can get as detailed with it as you want, as necessary. Next, you're going to be doing members' capital contribution, who contributed money to the startup of the business, what that is, and then you have that detailed. Who are the owners? Who are the general managers? And what are each one of those voting rights to make decisions? Is it a unanimous decision for a particular topic, or is it a majority decision, or a supermajority, or something in between? How does profit and loss become distributed to everyone? Is it weekly, monthly, annually? Who gets what? What are the percentages? It talks about meetings, who votes at the meetings, and what the weight of those votes are. How to change membership, removal of members, adding of members, changing members' interests, etc. What happens if there's a dissolution? Is there a dissolution event? When should you dissolve, and how does that process go? It should also talk about how to amend the operating agreement. It's a living document. You should make changes on occasion as changes are required. And then it talks about dispute resolution, whether it's arbitration or it's lawsuits, or how to resolve disputes. Hopefully before they get into litigation. Nobody wants litigation except the attorneys. We love litigation. So now you have all that done. Now you think you're done? You're not done yet. New York requires for LLCs publication. You need to publicize to your locality that you exist. So publication has to be completed within 120 days from your business formation. It has to be in 2 newspapers over the course of 6 weeks. You can operate your business during that 6-week time. And the newspapers, there's a whole list of them that the county clerk has on who's appropriate, what newspapers to use. They give a whole bunch of them and you get to pick it. And then at the end of that 6 weeks, at the end of your publication, noticing people that you formed a business, and you have to file an affidavit with the New York State Department of State. I always use a service of experts who do it. It's not that expensive. I'll detail some stuff about that later, but it's a great way to do it. It's just you tell them the stuff and they march. They know the list of papers. They know who's the cheapest papers. And they do the filings. It's really simple, easy peasy, lemon squeezy usable. You have to get understanding of your tax elections. It's not just forming the business. The federal government holds you as a disregarded entity. If you are a multi-member, you are automatically determined to be a partnership. If you're a single member, you're automatically determined to be a sole proprietorship. There's some questions. How do you want to be taxed? What's the structure? Do you want to make a subchapter S election? You really need to talk to your tax professional to see what's the best position. There are pros and cons for each one of these elections, each one of these tax statuses. I can do a whole video just on that. Maybe I'll do that later. If you want something like that, put a comment in. And I'll go through those types of stuff. But you should really speak to your tax professional or a tax attorney like myself to figure out what's the best tax situation for you. So now you think you're done. You have your tax situation set up. You have your article done. You have your publication completed. You have all that done. Now, hey, I'm done. But you're not done yet. So back in 2023, the federal government passed a rule that said you have to record with FinCEN, which is a department underneath the U.S. Department of Treasury, who your beneficial owners are. Okay. A beneficial owner, generally speaking, is someone who owns 25% or more of the business, has an interest of 25% more, or have what they call a substantial control over the business. Those are the things that you have to register with. If your LLC has been formed prior to January 1st, you have until the end of this year to make your registration. If your business is formed after January 1st of 2024, you only have 30 days after you form to detail who the beneficial owners are and who did the filing. You should also think about getting a corporate kit that contains your corporate seal. There's someplace where you can put all your corporate documents in a nice place. It looks pretty. It has your paperwork in it. And there's someplace where you can go every time to make sure that you know where your stuff is. So everyone asked me at this point in time or earlier what the costs are. So you can certainly do this by yourself. You can do it as a DIY. As of today, your New York State Department of State filing fee with 24-hour processing is $225. It changes, so you want to make sure that you keep up with the filing fee is. You want to order a certified articles of it organization. That's $10. Publication varies by location, so that's why I said it's important to understand and pick your location correctly. If your publication to use a publication service, you're looking at $650 more or less in Kings, $400 in Staten Island. You have New York City is more expensive because the papers are more expensive. You're looking at about $1,200 more or less. If you're living out in Nassau County, it's $350. So every county has its own fee depending on the costs. You really need to use a service. They can help you through that process. And depending on where you are, is going to depend on what the fee is. Your corporate kit is going to cost between $90 and $300 if you want the leather-bound gold leaf version. So you want to make sure you look at that. And so you're looking as a DIY project to get through the process just yourself, excluding your time, which is valuable. Should be anywhere between $800 to $1,500, depending on your corporate kit, depending on your publication, where you are. So that's the typical cost, out-of-pocket cost, if you're doing it yourself. If you want to hire an attorney, their fees vary. Every attorney has their own fee. As a benchmark, I'll tell you mine is about $1,000 more or less in legal fee on top of whatever the costs are, the filing fees, etc. So I'm going to take this opportunity to give a pitch on why using an attorney is very beneficial for you. Number one is the attorney will do everything. You'll focus on what the filings are, get them done in an appropriate way, and it will leave you free to be able to focus on your business, because that is the goal, to make money. You get Taylor's advice. So if there's a hiccup during the way or what goes in what line, the attorney knows what to do and they'll take care of it, and they can give you advice and guidance with regard to that. One of the big things attorneys have the ability to do is the operating agreement. Very, very important. As I said, you should have a robust operating agreement. It's going to help you, especially if you have a multi-member. Getting templates off the internet, you can do that. I never recommend it. There are words in there that you may or may not know, but every word has meaning. So you want to make sure you have an appropriate, robust operating agreement. There's compliance issues, zoning issues. There could be certification issues or licensing issues, health department stuff. There could be whatever it is your business has. There could be these type of compliance issues. It's good to lean on your attorney to be able to help you go through those waters. Also, informing the corporation, having an attorney at the table. You know, the attorney can only represent one person. Typically, they don't typically represent everyone in the room, but if there are questions or issues, the attorney can help mediate that and try to get language in your documents to make sure that things go through. They can identify issues that maybe you didn't think of. Happens all the time when I have people come into my office. They're unaware of things, and that's what you're paying the attorney for. So I'm going to end this with some tips on keeping your business successful. Always have separate bank accounts. You do not want to mix the business world with your personal world. You want to have a business bank account, a business checking account, that you can have a personal credit cards, but use that only for your business. So you identify one card as your business, whether it's a business card or a personal card. You can get a debit card. If your business needs money and it doesn't have sufficient cash in a bank account, you're going to transfer your personal money into the business account, and then from the business account, you're going to pay whatever bill that you have to pay. You do not want to mix worlds. If you get audited, they're going to look at your business and your personal accounts. If you're mixing it, as opposed to just looking at your business, it's very clean and easy to go through a business account to see what your income and expenses were. So when you do your returns at the end of the year and do your business accounting, it's very simple. If you have to look through 5 different accounts and one's personal, what I use this for, what I use this for, you know that everything in your business account is business. So you have to keep separate records, strongly recommended. You should get an understanding of your tax status. Did you make an S election? Are you a partnership? Are you a sole proprietorship being taxed such? I know it's when people in your tax, their eyes glaze over, but it's important as the owner of your business to get an understanding of what's there, what you can deduct, etc. You should regularly review your operating agreement, especially if it's multi-member. Members change, side agreements happen. Should always be memorializing these things in the minutes in your operating agreement. So 5 years down the line, there's no argument that you said this, I said that, or now that person passes and they're dealing with a family member. You want to make sure you're compliant with the rules and regulations of your industry. And you also want to talk about and think about succession planning to what happens if you have to close the business? What happens if you want to sell the business? How does that look? You want to have succession planning as part of your knowledge on what's going on. And you're strongly encouraged to engage professionals whenever you need it. It's an investment. It's not an expense. You pay professionals because they know what's going on. Okay, that's why you pay them. So I hope you learned something. I hope I clarified the process so you can get an understanding whether you do it yourself or you hire someone. You understand what has to get done. You understand the process, and you can get to the finish line. So we're always here to help. Law office is Stephen Bonfa, the casual lawyer. We're always here to help you. Love to hear from you. If you want to put some comments, obviously like and subscribe. And you can always reach out to me through my website, which is www.bonfalawpc.com. Shoot me an email, call me on the phone. Good luck to you. You're taking a great step in forming a business, becoming a small business person, an entrepreneur. Now let's go out and make you some money. So thank you for your time. I hope you found this valuable. I had a lot of fun doing it. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.